done so much for the fans with his Make-A-Wish charity. You know, he's a legend. But as a father, what did you do to instill that kind of a humanity and empathy in him?
I have 5 sons.
Okay.
All 5 of my sons are champions. I raised my boys the way I was raised. I come from an Italian family. We grew up with love, we grew up with caring, and we grew up helping others, working to make sure others had what we didn't have. You know, my mother and father both worked. I'm not trying to put anybody saying, oh, poor Mr. Cena. No, had a great life. I really did. But, you know, it was a lot different. And so I tried to instill in my boys that value that was instilled in me. You know, we heard a neighbor couldn't buy food. We brought them food. We heard a neighbor was in the hospital. We went to visit. I feel very, very upset. I received an email on Thursday. It was from a friend of mine for a 15-year-old boy, a children's hospital. John, obviously, you're not going to get him. So I offered to go in and bring some memorabilia and, you know, talk to the young man. I received a text on Friday that said, we don't know if that's going to happen. I got a text on Saturday morning that he was on morphine. I got a text on Saturday night that he died. You know, when you look at that kind of thing, anybody that cares, if you don't reach out and you won't help. And John, my son, you know, his heart is so big. I've heard all kinds of things, you know, say what you want about him. Say what you want. All my young sons, they're all the same. And the Make-A-Wish is near and dear to his heart. And I think that's a way that we give back. It's a way to take care of these young men and women who probably won't be here. I remember doing a wrestling show in Canada, and a woman came over to the ring, and she said to me, Mr. Cena, I want you to see something. And it was a locket, and she opened it up, and she said, there's a picture of your son, and there's a picture of my daughter. He was so kind to go out of his way to meet my daughter, and she died 3 days after he met her. So, you know, those are the values that I instill. I live by those rules. I don't trash people. I don't try to hurt people. I try to help. Sometimes I'm not successful, like that young man. But you know, if the world would just stop and look and see what's happening. We've got people who can't buy food. We have elderly people eating dog food. Appalachia, they can't afford shoes or clothes. Yet we'll send billions of dollars overseas. Cena does things to give back. He loves those children. He loves to Make-A-Wish. I remember one time when he took his shirt and his bands off his arm and gave it to a young man right there in a wheelchair. So that's what it's all about. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. I can instill or hope to teach you the values that I grew up with, the values that I live by today. If you do it, great. If you don't, then I did the best I could.
Well said, sir. Well said.
John, how about wow. That was excellent. Thank you.
That's Pharaoh's favorite.
That's
Valentine.
my all-time favorite, Greg Valentine.
Let me tell you, he is a great, great person.
Oh.
Hello, Greg.
The Dream Team. What'd you think about the Dream Team?
Ooh.
Was it really a dream?
Oh, no.
To me, they were. To me, they were. So let me ask you, John. The return of John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Becky Lynch, and Phil Brooks. Which, in your opinion, was the most impressive in, you know, on the return?
Wow.
You know,
wow.
I think the deal with Becky, you know, the way she left, the way she came back, a squash in 3 minutes, sorry. You know, I'll tell you who impressed me was Edge. He has not lost it.
No.
The Brood, him and Rollins put on one hell of a match.
I thought it would be the best match of the night. I agree.
I was so impressed by that. Mm-hmm. And Adam Copeland, if I may use his name,
sure.
Is probably one of the best. I worked with him. He's a great guy, a great professional wrestler. I remember when John and he were in Canada, I was there, and they had the table stacked up. John was on the ladder, and he had Edge on his shoulders for the FU then. And I saw John shake his head, and you could hear Edge say, now. And when Edge went through those tables, was knocked out, and Edge's mother was behind me, and all I could hear was, oh, my God. But there's a tremendous athlete. I think the return of Cena was good. I think it was well done.
Excellent.
I just think WWE should have put a swerve in there. The last night on SmackDown, when I said, well, there's a chance. We're going to have a 17-time world champion. And then as soon as Roman Reigns extended his hand, and this is what I mean about storylines and writers, I don't get it. He extends his hand and said, I'll tell you what, I'll do one better. If I lose, I'll leave WWE.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Right.
It's a loss.
Yeah.
What I would have done.
Agreed. That's what I thought. Agreed.
Well, I didn't like it. Why give me? Why? What's the point of watching the show? Tell me that. I don't understand.
Yep.
I don't mind paying money, but if I can come to the end before you.
Right.
And then I was watching and I said to somebody, you know what? I'm going to put $10 on the table right now. Lesnar's coming out. No way. All right. What happened after Cena took the beatdown?
Yep. There it is.
See, I think what should have happened was Cena should have won that. That would have been the swerve. Paul Heyman would have intervened and said, hold it. There was no contract, nothing in writing. He doesn't leave the WWE. As a matter of fact, tomorrow night or at Madison Square Garden, there'll be a rematch.
Interesting.
Let Rand have it back. I mean, I don't care what's going to happen. Brock Lesnar's going to go in now. We're going to have the same old thing all over again. And people are going to complain all over again. We've got a part-time champion. Unless the deal is, who does Roman Reigns really have left to fight? He's just going to keep going through these older stars, and he's just going to beat each one? It's beginning to not make sense anymore.
Interesting.
Talk about doing two people's job. That's what we were looking at. That's what we were looking at, ladies and gentlemen. We were doing two people. I was doing two people's job. I was wrestling. I was managing. I was hit. It's hard for me to believe that the wrestling world has continued to exist for the last 25 years that I've been absent. That's what baffles the mind.
You see what it's become.
That's what baffles the mind.
You see what it's become.
That's the problem. That, my friend, is the problem.
So are you blaming yourselves for what's happening in the wrestling world? You've
Absolutely.
allowed the Orange Cassidys to come in there because of your absence?
You guys are behind the
You're behind
flip-flop
it all?
fest?
What?
The flip-flop fest that we see today?
You're talking about those little twigs that flip around
Wow.
and roll around.
Let me just say this.
disappointing, guys.
Let me just say this. What you see today
Yeah.
is what we saw coming
Ugh.
25 years ago. They used to have this thing called backyard wrestling.
Oh.
Were wrestling fans that wanted to get together and they wanted to imitate the superstars of professional wrestling. Backyard wrestling became the norm.
Do you think one of those punks could eat a raw steak?
Not in their lifetime.
No treats for them.
Not in their
They don't
lifetime.
deserve a stinking treat.
No treats for them.
Now
You showed them a raw steak.
You see what I'm talking about? The nice guy's disappearing. You know why? Because he's hearing a familiar voice. He's hearing the master's voice. A dog, a good bad dog.
And let's talk about
listens to
let's
master.
talk about Orange Cassidy. I'm going to give you guys a little piece of trivia.
Okay.
Orange Cassidy went to the same high school I did.
Really?
Absolutely.
Really?
Phillipsburg High School in New Jersey.
Were your hands in your pockets your entire high school tenure?
Yeah, but not for the reason his are.
Interesting. Okay.
I know in mine right now, I was hanging around the girls' locker room. That's
Good
why
man.
my hands were in my
Good.
pocket.
Looking for treats.
Yeah.
Good man. Good man.
And if I didn't get one, I was giving myself one.
Seriously, what do your guys take when you see an Orange Cassidy today? The size, he looks like a lifeguard. He's basically, 150 pounds soaking wet, keeps his hands in his pockets,
How good's
and
his
then
memory?
pins a guy your size. Any thoughts on what wrestling's become?
Go ahead.
I don't think I would make a good Hollywood actor. Because I don't think I could speak somebody else's words and make them convincing. Let me just say that much about that particular topic. Because if you want that, there's certain places you can go to find it. But when you want to be what you've always dreamed of being, which is a superstar in the wrestling world, let me tell you where you'll find it. You'll find it in those places where a lot of normal people don't like to go.
Are you doing okay right now?
This is a highly personal subject to me.
Okay.
Because to me, it's the fan's experience that means the most. It's the only reason why we're here. If the fan doesn't get his money's worth, if he doesn't get what he expected to get, then you failed at your job. That's real easy. But when somebody feeds you information and puts you in front of a camera and tells you what to say and tells you what to do, what happened to the business that I once knew? That is not the business that I know. And excuse me, I didn't get the frickin' memo. Because in my world, I never did play. When I do something, I do it. No questions asked. And if that's what you want, then come on down. Because for 25 years, I didn't give you what you wanted. I stayed quiet. Everybody asked, where's Damian Kane? Where's Damian Kane? Well, I'll tell you something. Damian Kane was hardcore. Before hardcore was cool. That was proven in the National Wrestling Federation over and over again. With legendary people in the ring, like Bruiser Brody. God rest his soul. Son of a gun hit like a... I still have headaches over that. Let me get back on track. I'm sorry. What was I saying?
Remember we had talking about Brody, we were talking about the stars of the National Wrestling Federation.
Yeah.
But think about the stars that we had. Think about what we had in there. Brody, Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, the big Sarge.
I know.
You know, Sergeant Maggots.
That one whole summer, remember that one whole, was it summer of '87? I must have been in the ring. I must have worked with that guy 30 times, 35 times.
He was like a flea or a ticket you couldn't get rid of.
Hey, you couldn't touch his hair.
Oh my God.
You couldn't touch his hair.
Oh my God.
Remember in the back?
What hair?
He'd curl it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
He would take that
You
hair.
got a guy coming out there who's Sergeant.
He would curl it up.
Yo, Joe. Oh my God. No hair.
He'd sit in the back. He'd spray it, curl it up. Then as he started wrestling, it started to uncurl and uncurl. And pretty soon there was 2 feet. Then 3
think we were
feet.
supposed to talk about
Then 10 feet. What? It's past the G.I. Joe stuff now. We can talk about it.
I never could control what come out of his mouth, so I'm not
I never
responsible.
could talk about
I haven't
it.
seen him for 30 years or more. Trust me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be happy about
And
it.
then remember that one
You
day.
understand what I'm saying?
I think
the only good thing he has going for him is that politically we agree.
All right.
We agree.
I think the one night in Detroit. Do you remember that night in Detroit when that hair came out and it actually wrapped around the neck of a fan at ringside?
I'm tired of talking about that, Maggie.
That was horrible. I'll
How
never
about-
forget
how
that.
He
about-
gives me nightmares to this day.
How about talking with us about Paul Heyman? Because you guys obviously both have...
Who?
The advocate for Brock Lesnar? The representative for the
no,
tribal
no,
chief?
Let me correct you. The advocate for...
That's pretty good.
Stupid ass. Learn how to do a promo. Jesus, I trained him. When I was in the National Wrestling Federation, he was a friggin' photographer. He came up the ranks because of me. Because of me. The door that I opened for him. I left him manage me and Drake to get his career started. 10 years later.
Against the one of them that's actually on the show is against Fantastics. Remember that show? That match?
He came in handy, though.
He did come in handy.
But it's the idea. There was no appreciation for what the Godfather did. Everybody wants to praise Mr. Heyman for being so great at what he does. He's the greatest mind in wrestling. Oh, he is nothing but a watered-down Damian Kane. You will find that real shortly, because there's one man, your cult hero, Mr. ESS Promotions. He's the only one that could talk me into coming back, and promised me that he would reconnect the two that made the 80s what they were. So here we are.
And
What happens next is your guess as good as mine.
And you know what the best thing about that was? That we chose to walk away.
That's
We
exactly
chose
right.
it on our. It
That's
went
exactly
by
right.
what we chose to do. No one
Exactly.
told us to leave. No one told us it was
Exactly.
over. We chose to walk away.
Exactly.
How
Remember when
how
Brody got
difficult-
involved? Remember going back to that? Remember when Brody got involved? What
Yeah,
did I
yeah,
do? What
yeah.
did I do? Did I let you down? Hell no, I didn't let you
You
down.
were right there with me.
And who?
And-
Who came in? Who came in?
Do you remember?
Abdullah the Butcher.
Ah,
I brought you
I
Abdullah the
mean,
Butcher.
you
I
had-
brought
I needed
Abdullah the
Abdullah.
Butcher
I needed
to
Abdullah.
the family. And together, the three of us, we were unstoppable. There was no way you were going to defray our mission, whatever it was, because Brody was a tough son of a...
He
However,
was.
Abdullah the Butcher. Abdullah the Butcher! Who doesn't know about the legendary antics of the madman from Sudan? I'll tell you. Right here. Right here. I made it happen. And I'll do it all over again. And right now, right up here, in your back door, you've got the chance to come and see us. That's right. The Godfather of professional... Wait a minute. No. It's not the Godfather of professional wrestling.
Get rid of
anymore.
that. Get rid of that.
It is
That's
now.
old. That's old.
It is now the Godfather of extreme. Because when it comes to extreme and hardcore, there is no tomorrow. All there is what I say. It's time. Because if you paid attention and you look around in this crazy world, you'll know it's time. And guess what? I'm back thanks to Eric Sims and his ESS Promotions and Icons of Wrestling, bringing back the dream team that ruled the East Coast in the 1980s, moved into the 1990s. Extreme they want, extreme they got. The Godfather of Extreme. I'm the one that established it and started it. I was hardcore before hardcore was cool. Do not forget it.
Well, with
More I
that,
think
we're going
about
to
it,
take a quick commercial break. We'll be back
I
with
think
these
about it, the more I
ECW and
think
pro
it reminds me
wrestling
of
legends,
freaking
DC
Biden.
Drake and Damian Kane.
Biden.
That's what he reminded
Oh,
me of.
my God.
That's exactly what he
Jeez.
reminded me of.
Oh, I don't even want to hear that word.
Oh, my gosh.
Biden. Ugh.
Jimmy, I got to take a dump. What? No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty Nefaro, produced out of Indie Music TV here on Ronkonkoma, Long Island. where we have as our special guest pro wrestling legends, ECW legends, DC Drake and Damian Kane, who have not missed a beat in 30 years. So, how does that rant affect you guys?
It's 1980 again for me. I mean, it feels.
It
Feels good?
Like turning the page.
Oh my gosh, it's wonderful.
It feels like turning.
How
the
do you?
page.
So,
It's like we worked just last night.
you guys
in
haven't
Town.
seen each other in such a long time.
Well, almost 35 years.
You don't even talk on the phone? Nothing.
Never. I went my
Well,
way,
how
he
does
went
that
his.
happen? Like, after such a strong bond, like, how does it? I understand people separate a little bit, and I get it, but how does that
Well,
end up happening?
You know, for me, when the National Wrestling Federation began to fold up, and I can tell you a little story if you want to hear about how that began.
That's why
to
you're on
happen.
the air, bro. Go ahead.
All right. We were producing the shows. I was the producer of the show. Damien was helping with
We
the
were a
booking,
team.
and we were a team doing things. We had a chance to go with a big syndication deal with a company out of Cherry Hill called M&M Syndication, and the people that were the money behind it started to have their own issues go on as to who would be named the producer, who would be named those things, and that infighting actually started to make things fall apart. The whole goal of the National Wrestling Federation when we started it was to give them pieces of the hardcore while maintaining what people were used to seeing with wrestling. Again, with the goal of building our own stars, using the existing people to build our own people because we had to. We knew sooner or later we were going to lose these people. They were going to go back to WWF or, someplace else. And then we also were in contact with other promoters in other areas of the country and talking about, let's put together a package here. Let's see if we can work together because we can't have Slaughter doing this here while he's doing that here. We had to work together to make this thing work. And it just fell apart. I mean, we just got down to people not getting along, and at that point, I just walked away from the business. I was disgusted and I know he was disgusted the amount of time, energy, creativity we put into it. Just fell apart.
How was life for you guys after you walked away? Because that's got to be difficult. You usually don't hear that story where guys are able to just be able to walk away. You guys somehow did that. What was life like in the immediate aftermath of walking away? Was it difficult? I mean, you go from being a wrestler. Look, I know you both lived, breathed, ate shit pro wrestling. What do you do when it's all over with? How were you able to adjust?
Well, for me, I had a career outside of wrestling,
Okay.
and I stayed with that.
Okay.
And I did some stuff with TWA, Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, and did some work with them for a while. But never again did I want to get involved in any booking, any television. It was just so consuming, and to see it fall apart was, it's like.
Was it the business itself that made you guys say that's enough of this crap, or was it certain individuals that might have triggered it? I mean, what was it exactly that made you both go, enough?
Well, if I could speak, my situation is a little bit different than Don's because
Okay.
we kind of parted company before the end of the NWF
Right,
came about.
Mm-hmm.
I had an opportunity to go over to Europe,
Right.
do some things over there, and to me, that was opening a whole new can of worms.
Sure.
And when you're talking about determined to make your career, build your career on your own without signing your life over to somebody else and carrying on a fictitious persona, and I didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. So we took it the hard road. We built our careers from the ground up.
Right.
And when I say that, when I first started in the wrestling business, I was trained by the great Killer Kowalski.
Wow.
One of the true legends. You want to talk about legends
Sure.
in the game. Killer Kowalski. And when you're trained by a killer and you come out with this kind of passion about the business because you really realize why you love it now, because of the stories that he told, and you take that to heart and you see the world.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty Nefaro, seen every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. So, Jimmy, not a heated debate, but we don't necessarily on the same side of the fence on some things. I want to ask you about this. So, again, everybody knows Busted Open, probably the most famous wrestling radio show on the air next to ours.
Okay.
But I realized something the other day. I was listening at work. I just put it on and I'm working, whatever. Tommy Dreamer was on when the whole thing went down. It was the Monday before they were going to Impact. Callis and
Omega.
Omega were going to Impact.
All right.
And Tommy Dreamer was being interviewed by Bully Ray and LaGreca.
Right. Now, they normally are the two guys on the show.
Well,
Right.
Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer like alternate, and then I think
Okay.
Mark Henry comes in on Friday
With
or
LaGreca
Saturday,
being the
right?
consistent.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, right.
Gotcha. Go on.
So anyway, Dreamer is trying to, and I'm using Dreamer like your boy there. He's trying to keep kayfabe.
Okay.
He sucks. Dude, I'm sorry. Now I know why I
Really
could
now?
not stand him as a wrestler. I'm like, dude, you can't even, you couldn't convince me to buy water in a desert, dude. I mean, oh my God. He's trying to act like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't know what's
right.
going to happen to Impact. They may buy Impact. Shut up. I was like,
Not as effective as the Genetti segment. We had.
not even close,
I didn't
dude.
think
And
so.
I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
Now I know why I never even liked Tommy Dreamer as a wrestler. With all due respect, the guy's awful.
Oh, my God.
Awful, bro. Awful.
Okay. Well, I didn't hear it.
Awful wrestler. Awful.
I
You know
don't
what?
know about that.
He needs to go to the
That I don't know about.
he needs to go to the training center in the
Would
WWE
you-
and go
would
over
you
a friggin'
please? He's gonna come in here with a kendo stick.
dude.
What are you
He
doing?
seriously, he needs help.
I don't want him
He
coming
needs
in here
work.
with a kendo stick.
He needs work, man.
He needs work.
With all due respect.
What is it? What is it about the look that bothers you?
What do you mean?
Tommy Dreamer's look. Let's get into
It's not his look. It's his friggin' delivery on lines. I mean, holy
delivery on
shit.
lines?
It's terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
What is this, like season 11 of Happy Days? Is that what
It's
you get?
worse.
So Joni and Chachi are like Oscar-worthy compared to
You
this.
ain't kidding.
Wow, that's
I'm sitting there
now
listening.
that's a diss.
I was excited
poor
to
Tommy.
actually
What is
watch
this?
Impact to see what was going on with Omega.
Okay.
He almost ruined it for me. I'm like, I ain't going to watch this shit. This guy sucks. This guy.
This is a former ECW world champion.
Yeah, well, that
I see
doesn't
you-
mean
You
much.
don't mean, yeah. What? All right, leave the company alone. You don't have to like the wrestler. That's fine. But leave Paul Heyman's company alone.
Bad
please.
wrestler. Always knew he was a
God.
bad wrestler.
This is rough.
And boy, mic skills.
not right.
Please go to the WWE training center, bro. In fact, I got to
that
tell you
is-
this. I'm going to say this to you, Pharaoh. Don't talk about wrestling when you can't, and you're a wrestler and you can't
no.
even sell anything like that. Here's your opportunity, dude. You're in TNA, right? You're in. I'm sorry, you're in Impact Wrestling.
Right, it
You're
is not-
part of them.
Yeah.
And this is one of your biggest shining moments.
It is.
And you, for him, fuck yeah.
No, it's not. No, what is his history? He's a former ECW.
I'm talking about
Now-
for
you mean
Impact.
now, like,
yeah,
make it
now,
count, make
right?
it count.
Omega,
Come on, this is it.
AEW,
Give us
this is it.
something.
Give us something. Exactly.
All right, fine.
Exactly.
That's messed up.
Honestly,
now I have to see it.
It's like Bully Ray
Oh, don't.
every day talking about,
start
every
Bully.
Monday talking about Monday Night Raw and on how bad the story writing is. Meanwhile, he was one of the lead bookers in the old TNA and
What
was the drizzling shits.
the aces and eights stuff?
I'll give Aces
I
and
like
Eights wasn't
aces
bad.
and
All right,
eights. Leave,
you know what?
Leave
Good
the
call.
Dudley boy alone.
How
He's
about the
a Dudley
Brooke
boy.
Hogan one? The
What,
Brooke Hogan.
The marriage swear?
Oh my God! How bad?
That was hilarious.
Bad.
That was hilarious.
It was bad.
How bad was it compared to Billy and Chuck's wedding?
Billy and Chuck was much better.
That's what I was afraid of.
Much better.
Billy and Chuck made me want to stop watching wrestling.
You know what? It figures you'd call Aces and Eights out. That's about the only good
I
thing they
liked
wrote.
aces and eights. What's wrong with me? Probably a lot. Yeah.
The Main Event Mafia was good too.
It's okay. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad.
So anyway, my point is, dude, Tommy Dreamer sucks, man. Please, come on, bro.
Oh my God!
Weigh in.
I don't think he sucks, and I didn't see what you're talking about. But I'll take your word for it. If he sucked ass, he sucked ass. I don't know what to say. You know, I was never the biggest fan of Tommy Dreamer, but at the same time, I consider the old word serviceable. He played his roles in ECW fine. It is what it is.
Where does Tommy Dreamer rank in the
Don't
in
do
the
that.
Pharaoh 500?
I can't even think about that. I would have in the Pharaoh.
In the Pharaoh 500. We're not forget PWI 500. It's Pharaoh 500.
Oh, can I answer that next week? 500
I'll answer it. I'll answer it for you. You ready?
What is he, 757?
No, but
That's
3,221.
not right. Wow.
3,221 to the Pharaoh
you've got him-
500.
You've got him past the 10th planet.
Dude, I can name 3,220 wrestlers better than Tommy Dreamer.
Really rough.
And if you just consider his mic skills,
I'm going to be careful when I pull into the parking lot next week, dude. He's going to come out here. and get
honestly,
stick
I don't
your
think he'll
ass.
be a guest on this show.
Well, that's true too. Actually, yeah, I think he's afraid to come on this show, isn't he?
We'll be riding high. Yes, I will be riding high. Yeah.
Good luck. I mean, okay.
Before I leave here, that's all.
Wow, our reputation's getting.
I don't know what's going on here.
I,
I
have no
mean, I
idea.
was very nice to the man. What did you do, Mike?
I don't know,
This
man.
is terrible. Eric, explanation, please. Hey, all right, I gotta ask you. You know, we have talked about wrestlers passing on and stuff. Recently, New Jack passed away.
Yeah.
And it's been documented, of course, that New Jack and you weren't exactly going to be running out to get hotcakes and sausage together. There we go with food again. Any
What
thoughts?
happened?
Any thoughts on New Jack his passing away?
I mean, did you have a good relationship with New Jack, or was it?
I knew New Jack, you understand?
Yeah.
I only seen him every so often when I was passing through, but I never worked with him. You see? And that was it.
There was no bad blood because New Jack didn't seem to be so thrilled with Abdullah the Butcher. I'm
Sir,
just
let me
curious.
tell you, everybody talks about Abdul the Butcher,
Right,
and I don't care.
right.
If somebody dies, the first thing I say, I'm sorry to hear
Right.
that they pass. I ain't got time to knock nobody.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You understand? And that's
Right.
it.
Fair enough.
No, that's a
Fair enough.
legitimate and a good answer, right? It's good karma, and you know.
That's it. A lot of us, it's just like I tell a lot of people, we got to stop all this, excuse my language, this bullshit.
Right.
We got to start working together.
Stop with the negativity.
Yeah. It's like all this here stuff that's going on now, we got to stop it. Where are we going to end up?
Nowhere good if we
That's
keep it
it.
up. Yeah, agreed.
Go ahead, sir, talk. Don't go.
No, I want to. What are your feelings of what's going on in the United States right now, presently?
Oy.
What's Abdullah the Butcher's thoughts on what's happening to this country between the civil unrest, the disease, the poverty? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, number one, I'm going to say this. I don't know what the hell's going on, but the main part about it, a long time ago, if you had a cold, right, you coughed. This stuff that's going on, I don't know. And a lot of people ask me that, and I says, what can I tell you? Only they know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. A lot of doctors say certain things, and that's it. See?
Do you think society in itself has changed to the worse as you get older and you see what's going on?
Say that again.
Do you think society and the people that are living on this planet, whether it be in the United States or Afghanistan or wherever, do you think society in a whole has lost its morals and has turned for the worse?
I don't want to comment on that.
Okay, that's
It's
fair
just-
enough.
It's too dangerous.
I understand.
Just as long as his check turns for the better.
I understand.
Yeah.
So,
How does it make you feel that fans, I'm going to ask the question again because you kind of joked your way out of it last time, and I really want your honest opinion,
Okay.
that they want to see you and they care about you so much and they love wrestling so much, but they kind of lose focus on real life and hide themselves in the world of professional wrestling, right? You're a character, you're an actor, you're
Right.
an athlete, you're this whole bunch of great stuff.
I'm an entertainer.
That, yes, sir, better word to use. Thank you.
All right.
But my point to you is, I understand. I'm assuming you love the fans, but do you feel society does not remain focused on the important things that are going on, like the 13 U.S. service members who lost their lives because of our inaccuracy to get them out of that country or get that country cleared at the right time? And we're more focused on the entertainer, the new wrestling organization, and whatever else is going on?
Well, I'm gonna say this here, and I'm not gonna say nothing else. You got to clean up everything, and that's it. You know what I mean? If you don't clean something up, like the military, they go over there, they fight, they come back, and when they come back, they got no legs, they got no arms, and stuff like that. I feel sorry for these guys who have to go overseas and die or come back with no legs and this and that. I feel sorry for them, and that's it. But whose fault is it? It's the guy who sends them over there.
It's a great point.
That's it. Who sends them over? I don't send them over.
So fair to say, if I could answer the question for you, is that we have a lot of work to do in this world, in this country, because it's just not heading the right way.
Well, we got a lot of work to do to clean up. We have to clean up. Everything is time. If we don't clean up something, where are we going? I don't care what you got. If we don't clean up, everything's going to go down.
They always cleaned up after his matches. A couple of mops in a bucket.
You're older,
but-
we're older. Society changes.
Right.
Was it different back in the 70s? Did you feel society was different? Was it better? Was it worse? Again, we're not the same age, but
everything has changed.
yes.
You understand? Everything has changed. So what are you going to say? How can you change it? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Every time you turn around, somebody's killing somebody. Somebody's doing this or taking a little kid or doing this here. We got to clean it up. If you don't clean it up, where are you going to be? And that's it.
How did your not to lighten the load a little bit here, but how did your gimmick come into existence? What made you decide to become Abdullah the Butcher? You could have called yourself so many different things. You could have presented. This was just right for you. How did the evolving of Abdullah the Butcher come into fruition?
I went to Vancouver, and I wrestled in Seattle, Washington. And they had a promoter there. His name was, anyways, it'll come back to me. And I went there to wrestle, and the building was sold out.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrestled Don Leo Jonathan.
Don Leo
Right.
Jonathan, okay.
And they said, I went out there, bam, 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 I done my little stuff, and I caused a riot, right? And the
Okay.
promoter ran down there real fast and said, tell Abdullah to get DQ'd or something, right? And that's what I done. So when I got back to Vancouver, Rod Fenton was there. He says, oh, I heard that you tore the place down, right? And I says, well, you know. He says, we got to get you a manager. And that's when they got, well, they got, I can't think of his name, but it'll come to me. But
But they brought you a mouthpiece.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
he said we got to do one thing. Jack Britton had me down for Zealous, the great Zealous Amera. He says,
That doesn't roll off the tongue the way Abdullah the Butcher, but
right.
go on. Go
so
on.
he says, we got a lot of Indians down here in
Okay.
Vancouver.
Okay.
He says, we'll call you Abdullah. Then when Rod Fenton see me wrestle, he said, damn, we got to put Butcher, because he likes to butcher people. Abdullah the Butcher, right? But now what I say all the time when they say, they mention my name, I said, well, my name is Abdullah the Butcher. Real name, Larry Shreve, from Windsor, Ontario. That's it.
And with that, we'll be
Hey, this is Rob Van Dam,
And Katie Forbes.
and you are watching Long Island's #1 wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Hey.
released a remembering the patriotic smackdown of 9/11, where Vince McMahon puts together, probably the first sporting event returning off of that
It was.
horrid situation.
It was the first event post 9/11. Yep.
And thoughts on Vince and what he did for this country at that time?
Well, as usual, and I am a huge backer of Vince McMahon. I grew up watching Vince McMahon's products and watching Vince McMahon's father's product. I thought that, as usual, Vince McMahon stepped up to the plate after 9/11, made a great speech, very inspiring speech, And Vince McMahon is another one who's one of a kind. One of a kind. Hey, I think there's a song in there somewhere.
Look at you playing into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a great moment, and it's guys like Vince who made sure that the wheel kept rolling. I thought it was a great moment.
His speech was incredible. Anyway, once we get out of commercial break, we'll ask Rob about that and quite a few other things. But anyway, I'd like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monty and the Pharaoh, our own Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band to Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. You could find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page, Spotify, Apple Music, and download their music from Reverb Nation. In case you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, and you can catch this great show on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube page after we come off suspension. I'm going to keep saying it because, again, my civil liberties have been attacked and denied. And being a former veteran of this country, I do, and my wife will correct me when I say veteran, I don't appreciate that one bit.
Nor should you.
Catch the Monty and the Pharaoh on the Facebook Live page. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor. Catch us on the Monty and the Pharaoh Twitch TV page. Also, if you live in New York, catch us on New York Cable every Tuesday, from 7 p.m. to 7:30 on Channel 115, which has been changed to 9:30 prime time because of the great following we have of the show. And for early risers, 6 a.m. to 6:30. Also, catch us on late night Channel 20 from 2 a.m. to 2:30.
Pharaoh time.
We're going to get right to this with Hall of Famer, pro wrestling great.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable, probably a damn good human being, Mr. Rob Van Dam.
We shall return.
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com.
Elm Logistics, for all your logistic needs. Call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics. Pride, performance, and partnerships. And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty and the Pharaoh, filmed and produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, Long Island, where we have Mr. Rob Van Dam. Rob, thank you for joining us. Unbelievable.
Right on, guys.
Rob, I don't know where you stand with Vince McMahon. I believe you were part of that 9/11 show, that when you guys came back. Do you have any thoughts or any remembrances about that show?
Yes, I was, actually, and I do. They were just filming, when they were here, or not here. I live in Las Vegas. I forgot I'm not home right now, but when SummerSlam was in Las Vegas, they were doing a documentary on the first show after the tragedy, and I was booked on it, and I don't know what happened a couple days before, and they said, sorry, we're not going to be doing that. And then I see they're doing the show anyway, so I guess I got knocked off. Probably, with the COVID, everything changed. They're trying to have as few people in the building at all times. I didn't even go to SummerSlam. I wanted to, but it was because of that, But so it's cool to be asked about that, because I was looking forward to being on the show and talking about that. It was a hell of a time that I won't forget, For me, I was traveling with Mike Awesome, and and we were in San Antonio the night before. I had a hookup with the Marriott, big buffet, suite room. I had a hookup for both of us. Mike called me in the morning and, Rob, turn on the TV. We're under attack. And I turned it on, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I saw I guess it was the second tower going down, and we were both like, whoa, what's going on? But we had no idea how big that was at the time. I guess we're so used to like dealing with it, rolling with the punches, that's what you have to do in general. But this was something that affected the whole world way more than we realized. We ended up checking out, driving all the way to Houston where the show was supposed to be that night. And then, of course, the show was canceled, and then we were stranded in Houston for the rest of the week. We would have definitely rather been trapped in San Antonio with the sweet hookup that I had and everything. But we didn't know. And man, we were all stuck at the same hotel in Houston. A bunch of the wrestlers hanging out by the pool, frequenting the same restaurants or whatever, and we were kind of like just in a holding pattern. When we ended up having the show, a few days, 3-4 days later, whatever it was, I don't remember exactly. My thought was, no, like the very first live attended show after the attack, what better place to send a message to America than blowing up an arena full of wrestling fans? I mean, what's more American than that in WWE? So live, so I thought, I was concerned. I thought there was a good chance we were going to be attacked again right there live. Everyone's going to watch, thousands of people dying, whatever. But we did the show, and afterwards we were still afraid to fly though, and Teddy Long was the first one to fly out that I knew about. And I remember, we couldn't wait to call him when he got home. How was it? You made it all the way? I thought he was crazy for flying. I really did, and he was like, hey, first flight available I could get on. And I was just like, man, I don't know. I drove. I was with my evil ex at the time, who had some relatives in Oklahoma, and we ended up, driving out of there. But for the longest time, it was very, very scary. It made you so aware to go through the process of traveling via airplane after that. And we all talked about it. I remember having a conversation with Lance Storm. We were just talking about our own perspectives, and he was saying at that time that every time he leaves the house, he kisses his kids goodbye and his wife goodbye, like he might not see him again. Like, that's how much we were committed to the business and to our life. We felt like, hey, this is life as we know it, so we're going to continue on. And if my plane doesn't make it to its destination tonight, damn, I don't want that to happen. But if that's the way the story goes, that's what happens, because we are wrestlers, then that was something that we were going to have to face. And we all thought every time we got on an airplane, we might be facing it. And we eyeballed anybody with a towel on their head, or anybody with, skin color that was a little darker. It was always like, okay, I'm going to sleep with one eye open just in case, because we didn't know. We were all like involved in the hype, and obviously that was a crazy, crazy, terrible thing that happened.
Well, I got to tell you, I love the honesty, right? Because someone could just say, hey, look, I knew I had to do this, and I had to whatever, but, obviously everybody was fearful. I was flying at that time too, and I had the same problems, right? Looking and eyeballing people that you thought might be weird. And what did you think about Vince McMahon Jr. and his addressing the United States and his commitment to getting everything back to normal?
Respect for Vince. I think that he's a great leader, and I would definitely not be qualified to be in his position to make decisions. Obviously he gets a lot of heat. A lot of people throw the weight on him for what happens with a lot of individual wrestlers and their lives. That's the position that he's in. I wouldn't even want to be in a position where I got to hire and fire people. That, for me, being the most zenful person that you see out there. That's because I think my lifestyle is extreme in mellow conditions, in a way that normal people can't understand, because normal people have way more stress in their normal lives, whether it's your job, your kids, your significant other, you fight, traffic, whatever. People live with stress, and for me, that's like my spiritual goal, is to be on the lookout for stress, find it, deal with it immediately, get rid of it if I
Wrestling fans, now you too can look as cool as Monty and the Pharaoh by wearing the official Monty and the Pharaoh sunglasses at night for $8.99 each. That's only $8.99 each. Now available at montyandthepharaoh.com. We know what you're thinking. Did they fire off 6 fascinating points of interest or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all the excitement of watching and listening to Long Island's #1 wrestling podcast, I've actually forgotten myself. But being this is the Monty and the Pharaoh from Indie Music Studios in Ronkonkoma, and the fact that they were talking to yet another champion wrestling star, one of the most powerful and talented performers from the wrestling franchise, and not to forget well-informed and provocative interview questions asked and answered. It was such an interesting and entertaining hour, the questions nearly blew your head clean off. Now you've got to ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Do ya, punk?
What? Yeah. No, I'm behaving myself. No, I'm not playing in abandoned buildings. What? Again? Now, I suppose you had those people follow me again. Fine. Hey, this is Jimmy Farrow from Monty and the Pharaoh, and I want to thank all our subscribers. We have now passed 14,000 on our YouTube channel. But I want to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged member of Monty and the Pharaoh. Yeah, that's right, folks. There's 3 different levels to choose from. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. Just check it out and become a member of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later. righty. Welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Wait a minute. Monty?
Hi, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas, also known as Monty. Got my main man right here, the Pharaoh. We got some wonderful guests over here. We got the Macho Man sitting here, and we got the Huckster sitting over here. Got some of the best guests around. I'm so happy to be here. Just call me Tony Monty. Hello.
Tony Monty?
Yes. And I'm so glad that we got these great people over here. Look at the wonderful guests we got to do. You guys introduce yourself there, brother. Tell them who you are.
XNWA WCW superstar ravishing Randy Hogan here, brother.
Randy Hogan, baby!
Yeah, and I am #1 Macho Man Randy Savage impersonator, past, present, and future. Yeah, Macho Man. Dig it? And together, we are Mega Powers 2.0. Yeah.
The Mega Power, baby, like that. Well, I'm going to tell y'all Mega Power people something. I got my main man right here, Jimmy Farrell. And Jimmy Farrell would jump down your throat, top things on your liver, and dare your heart to be. Because Jimmy Farrell here is a tower of power. Too sweet to be sour. Often imitated, but never duplicated.
Thank God.
Never broad at the shoulder, narrow at the hip. Nobody at Monty and Farrell give him any lip. If you see him come to you, better step aside. A lot of men didn't. A lot of men died. He was raised in a cave by old female land. No high-toned woman make him walk a straight line.
Who am I to argue?
Wow.
Who am I to argue?
Jimmy Farrell. So y'all get ready for it.
What do you think of that, Mach?
This,
I got nothing, brother.
this is what the time is right here.
That's a promo, brother.
That's right. Well, you see, I'm getting ready for it. People don't realize I'm getting ready for the best thing that ever happened in my life. The best thing that ever happened in my life. The best thing that ever happened in my life.
The best? Oh,
Having
no.
a sip of
Oh, no.
good fucking wine.
Yeah.
I got so lit up on this stuff here the other day. I was high as a kite, brother. You know, this is better than the pipe.
Wow.
How is that possible?
Oh, brother, you take a sip of this.
Oh, I guess
good
it is
fucking
possible.
wine, brother.
All right.
It
That's
will
the name
monk
of it.
You up.
Well, fair
you
enough.
Want to get totally monked up? This is the stuff.
Monked up.
Monked up is a nice way of saying F up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but this is some good wine. I didn't realize it at first, but I drink me some of this right here, and boy, this is good stuff. There,
Yeah, it's
buddy.
like what the label says.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a song there.
Oh, no.
Let's hear it.
No, don't
But I'm
encourage
not
him.
gonna do
Oh,
that.
my
But
God.
But what we would like to do, if it's okay with my main man,
Yeah.
the Pharaoh,
Yeah, well,
I would like y'all, starting with you, Mr. Hogan. You know, in the wrestling business, you and I, we talk, and ain't many wrestlers left from our era. And a lot of people know how Tony Atlas got started. They know how Hulk Hogan got started. They know how Bob Orton got started. Y'all take the time. How you got into this business? What got you interested in this business? And just talk about you, brother. Let the people know who you are and what you represent and why you are in this business.
Well,
And if you got any good stories, we love to hear it.
I'm not sure I can tell them.
Well, do
But
the
anyway,
best you
brother,
can.
going way back, 7, 8-year-old kid, I was. Grandparents loved professional wrestling. Took me to Olympia Stadium in Detroit before Cobo Hall and before Joe Louis Arena was around. Raised on guys like The Sheik, Wilbur Snyder, Bobo Brazil, Killer Kowalski. So I was raised up as a fan all these years and became a fan and stayed a fan until one day I decided, I really want to know what's real and what's fake. I had no idea. Professional wrestling.
What
I like
year?
it.
Well, what year is this?
This would be about 1981.
81.
81. And I used to play in a band, and we were playing a Holiday Inn circuit in the South, and we're in Columbus, Georgia. And I know, Tony, you've been to Columbus.
Yeah.
Every
And
Wednesday
the funny
night.
thing, Hulk Hogan was in a band.
That's right. He played bass guitar, and I played
Exactly.
drums.
Okay.
Oh.
What a rhythm section, huh?
I
There
tell
we
ya.
go. There we
Lot
go.
of
And I
similarities in
played
this.
with me.
I was gonna say, pocket pool was, what are you, gold medal in pocket pool? I mean, what are we talking
Well,
about?
just like Hulk,
Go ahead, brother.
like the other Hogan's first movie, No Holds Barred.
Right.
His brother's name was Randy.
Right.
So anyways,
Right.
Being a fan, playing in a band, and all the wrestlers used to stay at this Holiday Inn I was working at.
Okay.
So, and they come into the bar afterwards, so I got to see some. I knew them all from the magazines, and that was it. Scared. But you had guys like Wahoo McDaniel and Eddie Mansfield.
Wow.
Anyways, Eddie Mansfield.
This is Mid-Atlantic territory you're talking about, right?
Atlantic, yes, Columbus, Georgia.
WCW then, yeah.
It was, I think, NWA.
NWA, baby.
NWA, we said NWA then.
Yep,
Yeah,
81.
right.
Aren't you Georgia heavyweight champion
Yeah,
around
but
that
they
time?
changed to WCW.
Yeah, later on, a little
Yeah,
later
it was
on, a little
everything,
bit.
yeah.
Okay.
So I got to know Eddie, and through Eddie, I got to know Ted and Jerry Oates, who
Ted
were
and
a
Jerry
brother
Oates, yes.
tag team
The
all
Oates
over.
brother, yeah, yeah.
And Jerry owned the gym there.
That's right.
So I got to know Eddie well and started talking to him, and used to go to the gym with him, working out and everything. Now this is the day back in kayfabe. I didn't know nothing. Eddie told me nothing about the business other than stuff that was going on with him at the time.
Right.
So we went through that, and I had moved to I was managing a restaurant, and got moved up to Marietta, Georgia. And my father passed away down in Florida, so I got transferred down there.
How old was your dad?
My dad was 56.
That's young.
Had a brain tumor.
That's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so I was managing a restaurant anyways, and they closed the restaurant. And I said, well, shit, what am I going to do now? So that's when I had the question, I wonder if this wrestling is real or fake or whatever. So I called Jerry Oates. I said, Jerry, do you know anybody down here that trains people? And, excuse me. Jerry said, well, there's only one. His name is Hiro Matsuda,
Oh,
who trained
Hulk Hogan.
Worked very close with the Grahams. Trained Lex Luger. So
He didn't
Jerry
break your
said-
he didn't break your leg, did he?
No, not mine.
Unfortunately
No,
not.
that was my
One broken Hogan leg was enough for him. Thank
Well, that
God.
was old school
So-
training
so-
to see if
so-
you come back.
So who finally ended up training you?
Ted and Jerry Oates.
You were trained by Ted and Jerry Oates?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
About 13 months.
Okay.
Okay.
So now at this point, I knew nothing, but I thought I knew everything.
Oh boy.
I
Oh
was
boy.
fortunate enough that I could take bumps from anywhere. I don't know.
You remember who your first opponent was?
Yeah, he was called the Executioner.
Was that Jerry Stubbs?
No, his name was Grady something. I don't remember.
Right, right.
It was a fundraiser they had for the Police Athletic League. at the time.
Okay. And what name you went under then?
Randy Franklin.
Randy
Because my
Frank.
dad's name was Frank.
Right.
So I took that. And I always had the mustache now since
Right.
I was 18
Now,
years
now,
old.
now, when did the Hogan impersonation came about? What
Impersonation, brother. I'm 3 years older than him. He is a Randy Hogan impersonator.
Oh,
okay.
boy.
That's right.
Okay.
Don't make me come out of
when
retirement,
did
Tony.
you?
We're getting to the bottom of this now.
I'm afraid the question. When did you?
Careful.
When did you got the recognition for being the original
Okay.
Hogan?
Okay, I'll make the rest
Well
of the story
done.
short.
Well done.
Okay?
Yeah.
I thought I knew everything. I was done. Didn't want to wrestle nothing. Always went to the matches because I still lived in Columbus. And one of the guys I trained with was putting up the ring. So I said, Bill, what are you doing? He says, well, they rent the ring from me when they come to town. I put it up. And he asked me, are you wrestling? You doing anything? I said, no, I'm not doing nothing. So what are you doing? He says, I'm wrestling this little bar up in, I think, Athens, Georgia.
Athens, yes.
Yeah. And he says, why don't you come with me sometime? I said, well, I'd love to come watch you. And he said, bring your stuff. I said, I'm not bringing my stuff or nothing. I just want to go watch you. So I went and watched them once, and I went the second time, and somehow I got in my bag and took it up. And like most of these little independent shows at the time, when you're playing in a bar in front of maybe 30 drunk soldiers, which it was at the time, there were some no-shows. So the promoter guy goes to my friend Bill and says, hey, does he want to wrestle? And I said, well, okay. Now again, I think I know everything, okay? So promoter says, okay, you're going to wrestle this guy named Animal, and he's going to go over. I says, okay.
Is that Animal of the Road Warriors?
No, this is just
another Animal.
Just another guy, yeah. Similar, but anyway. Anyway, so I go in the back, and I says, Bill, I says, I'm wrestling Animal, and he's going over. I said, now, does that mean he's like going over the top rope or going to throw me over?
Oh, you knew everything.
I knew everything, right.
Oh, boy.
He says, no, dummy, that means he's going to win. I said, oh, okay. So anyways, I got through the match. They're okay. Came in the back, promoter says, can you come back next week? And I said, well, sure. Now, this is one of those hot dog and a handshake days we joke about.
Right.
That wasn't no joke, brother. That was, and it drove 3 hours to get there. But, so I went back the next week, and he says, you know what? Now, this is early 80s. He says, you kind of look like that Hogan guy. Now, Hulkamania was just being born.
Yeah, sure.
You just won the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, we're going to call you Hal Hogan, and you're going to be his cousin. I says, okay. So I thought about it. I said, I don't mind the Hogan thing, but I don't want to be Hal, because I don't know who the hell they're talking
You said
about.
this was in 1980?
Yeah, like 81.
81,
right
yeah.
in there, yeah. And he says, okay, you can be Randy. So, because of this little bar, a hot dog and a handshake, I was given the Randy Hogan name.
Fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
You never felt pigeonholed by it as the years went on? Did you?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah.
The yes part is because I only got so far in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, it was different back in the territory days.
Of course it was.
A lot more work
Yeah,
and everything else. But doing the Hogan thing, you go and you watch other guys that are on the matches, and you go watch them in another house, and they introduce you to a promoter, and that's kind of how you progress and get jobs from this guy, that guy, and the other. Well, then I was in a match once, and I built up, and because of the Hogan gimmick, now I was still whatever they wanted me to be, his cousin, his uncle, his brother, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Pin me, pay me.
There you go.
So I was up in the, I was wrestling, and the main event had this self-proclaimed 40-year veteran Alabama junior heavyweight champion, Mike Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the main event. And, he was on TV. It's jobber, enhancement, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, how do you get on TV, Mike? And he says, well, I actually bring guys up. He says, I can't guarantee you anything, but if you want to drive up with us. They were doing tapings at TBS Studios in Atlanta every Wednesday, 3 hours. So I went on my very first TV match was a tag against the Warlord and the Barbarian.
Oh wow. Okay.
Warlord picked me up in one of his presses. I'd never been so high in my life. Okay, they turned me over and I landed correct. I just wanted to jump up and say, "Yeah," that was great.
So you enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
Do it
yeah.
again. Thank you, sir. May I have another?
So I sold it.
I want to get him in a little bit, if you don't mind.
Macho,
yeah. How? Now I'm sitting here looking at you.
Right.
You
it's
jack,
uncanny.
brother.
It's uncanny.
You are freaking jacked out of this freaking world. Before you get into how you got started, like Hogan did, can you give the fans just a glimpse idea of what regiment you did? Because everybody's body is different. I may have did one thing in my day to develop myself. Hulk Hogan did something in his day to develop himself. The Ultimate Warrior have another workout. What was your way of training? And once you explain that, can you do pretty much the same thing that the Hogan did? Kind of explain what got you into the business and who helped you to get started in this. But I'm interested to know myself. How in the hell you get to look like that? You jack, bro.
Man, this is coming from somebody who's twice my size. Man, I'm trying to get like you, brother. Man, you see those arms right there?
Well, all you gotta do is get fat, bald-headed, black, and ugly. You look just like me.
Well, I'm halfway there. Don't worry about that. But here's the deal. As far as what I do is a lot of trial and error, man. You know what I mean? I've been doing it for a long time. Tried every diet under the sun. every supplement, every type of workout. And the thing is, man, you got to find what works for you.
Right.
And that's only going to happen through years and years of trial and error. And basically what I found is a lot of supplements, most supplements for bodybuilding are a crock of shit.
Really?
Yeah, none of it's FDA approved.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a
FDA
big
approved.
supplement guy. You know, I believe in, you know, the standard protein powder. You know,
Right.
I take some pre-workout to get me going. Some branched chain aminos. You know what I mean? The powder mix. You know, I drink that during my workout. So basically, man, the only supplements that I take is, you know, before I work out, during my workout, and after I work out. It's
Right.
pretty much, you know, I got my protein before and after, and I have my aminos during, and, you know, throw in a pre-workout to get me going. But everything else, man, you know, if you're eating right, if your diet is on point, you don't need supplements, because that's
How
what
many
they
days
are.
a week you normally put into the gym?
I actually try to go 7 days.
7 days?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, because mentally, you know, I try to stay on a routine of like, okay, you know.
So you work each muscle like twice a week or once a week? Like my old routine when I first started on Monday was Monday, Thursday I push. I did chest, shoulders, and tries on Monday, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
On Tuesday I usually do back and buys, and on Wednesday was Wednesday, Saturday was legs. So I used to do 6. I have cut it back here lately to only 4 days a week, and eventually I'm gonna cut it out to 3 because I'm getting up there in age. But like for example, what was your repetition range? Was it 8 to 10 or 10 to 15 or all 10s, or and how many sets you normally would do in a workout?
Well, the first part of that question, the 7 days a week is basically I do one body part each day. The other days I'll do cardio. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'll do, you know, chest on, you know, Monday, and then Tuesday is back, you know, like that. And then,
Right.
you know, on the other days, just to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll do abs. I'll do cardio. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll just do forearms or something just to get me to go 7
Right.
days.
Right.
Because mentally, it helps me to go 7 days, because it's like, you know how easy it is. Then
Yeah.
you can go 7 days, or you can go 6 days, and then you take that one day off, and then Monday comes and it's hard to get back in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird
Yeah.
like that, but I try
Yeah.
not to let that happen. As far as my workouts go,
Well, were you training before?